Welcome to our practice for the 21st of November 2024. Let's generate some heat and light to counteract that dreariness that's outdoors right now. Let's come to seated towards the front of our chair. Observe the breath. And let's use the first few moments of our practice to create that disconnection from what's happened prior to the practice and to make the next 60 minutes a special time for us. A time to work, to breathe, to relax, to sense, to heighten our awareness of the breath, how the body moves, and the intricacies of each of the movements of the body. Feel yourself perched at the front edge of the chair. Feel the sit bones connecting with the seat of the chair as the force of gravity draws the mass of the body down towards the earth. And even though the sit bones are the primary point that carries the weight of the upper body, also feel the connection between the feet and the floor. And become aware of the texture of the connection. Is it a hardwood floor? Is it carpet? Does it feel cool? Does it feel hard? Does it feel soft? Does it feel warm? Now let's bring the attention to the breath and become deeply aware of the movement of the breath, movement of body parts in response to the inhale and in response to the exhale. If you're not noticing movement in the belly, try and emphasize that movement of the belly. Sensing the diaphragm moving down towards the chair with your inhale breath, and then up into the lower cavity or into the lower ribs as you exhale, and the stomach drawing back as you do so. Even out the flow of the breath. And today I'm not going to give you the count to even up the flow. I'm just going to ask you to find your own rhythm between an even exhale and inhale. You can count silently to yourself and maybe extending your inhale and exhale breath, or your exhale breath. Now with the spine, remembering what we worked on Monday to limit the flexion of the thoracic spine, particularly if you have bone density issues of the spine. Inhaling, lifting the sternum, and exhaling, rounding towards the back of the chair. Inhale up for 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, and 6, and 6. Come back to neutral. Bring the arms to the side. Draw the shoulders back, stack the spine, and reach the right fingertips to the floor. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, and 6. Windmilling the arms for 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10, 10, 11, 11, and 12, and 12. And come back to a neutral spine. Draw the shoulders back, stack the spine. Try to bring the ankles, the knees, the hip joint to each of those joints to a 90-degree angle. Distribute the weight evenly on the right and left sit bones. From the connection between the sit bones and the seat of the chair, move your awareness through the pelvis, into the sacrum, and into each of the vertebrae. Let's take the arms again up overhead. Take the left hand to the outside of the right thigh and bring the right hand. See if you can bring it in towards the sacrum. And again, remembering our instructions from Monday. Gently twist towards the right side. Lengthening the head up towards the top of the ceiling as much as you can. Each inhale breath. Raise the arms up overhead and twist towards our left side by taking the right hand to the outside of the left thigh. Try and think of an axis of each of the vertebrae, and each vertebrae contributing to that twist, but only a small amount. One more breath here. And inhale, let's come back to center. Let's take one cat-cow breath here, lifting the sternum, and exhaling, rounding back towards the back of our chair. Let's inhale, come back to a neutral spine, raise the arms overhead, interlace the fingers, press the palms out towards me, and let's let the shoulder blades glide forward. Reach the hands a little closer to me, then draw the shoulder blades down the back and pull the shoulder blades back towards the spine. Raise up the arms overhead. Flip the palms, bring the palms to rest, the interlaced fingers to rest on top of the head. And before we start to close up the elbows, draw the shoulder blades down the back. Again, so avoid, not this, we want this, not this, this. Bring the elbows to touch. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Fingertips to shoulders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Stretch the arms out towards the side. Draw the shoulder blades down. Let's reach the hands onto the shoulder blades. Peel the shoulder blades away from the spine. Then wrap the arms around each other. Lift the fingertips towards the ceiling. Firm up the core muscles to support the spine as we gently angle the body towards the legs, pivoting at the hips. Come back to neutral. Unravel the arms. Take the shoulders forward, up, back, and down. Once again, forward, up, back, and down. Stretch the arms out again. This time, take the opposite hand on top, reach around, and peel the shoulder blades away. Let's lift the sternum just slightly to support the back here. And wrap the arms around each other. Lift the fingertips up towards the ceiling. Breathe here. And once again, almost feel like you're pulling the sit bones back with the edge of the chair. The pelvis tilts forward and angle the body over the legs. Inhale, come back up to center. Unravel the arms. Let's take the palms into center. Raise the elbows as much as you can to try and get that wrist as close to a right angle as you can. Begin by pressing the thumbs into the sternum and then rotate the fingers towards the floor. Bring the fingertips back to center. Rotate once more towards the floor. Back. And final time. Interlace the fingers and let's roll the wrists around. And then go in the opposite direction. Let's open the fingers up and then just bounce into the webbing between each of the fingers. Go back. And then gently grasp the end of the finger with the opposite hand and just gently pull and wiggle that finger. Again, let's work across. And again, pull. Let's go with the opposite hand now. Again, gently pull. And just move the hands and give them a gentle shake. Down. Back up. Now take the fingertips And I'm going to ask you to just tap lightly on the opposite arm. So begin with the forearm. You can come onto both sides. So just tapping gently. Come up onto the biceps and triceps. You could come onto some of the shoulder muscles. Make sure you give both sides of the arm some attention. And you can even come up onto the trapezoid muscles. Again, just tapping gently. Well, let's move to the opposite side. Start with the forearm. Again, gently tapping. Coming up onto the biceps and triceps. The shoulder muscle. Let's come on to the trapezoid muscles. And now take the fingers of both hands, start at the back of the head, the neck, and again, just tap around the area of the head. Come on to the forehead, down onto the jaw, and then to the chin, and down the neck. And then just take the hand and sweep towards the chin and shake it out. Back to our seated mountain pose. Again, just notice the connection between the sit bones and the edge of the chair. Draw the shoulder blades back. Let's raise the arms up overhead. Bring the hands onto the upper thighs. Draw the sit bones back to tilt the pelvis forward with the edge of the chair as we move the body towards the legs, but use the hands on the thighs to support the spine. So we avoid that tendency to round the spine as we angle forward. Press into the legs to raise the body back to vertical. Hug the elbows into the lowest ribs, and we're going to once more angle the body towards the thighs, but to come back up, rather than using the core muscles, we're going to use the strength of the arms to lift us away from the legs. So angle forward, and again, press into the legs. We're using the body weight to provide resistance. Let's come forward. Keep those elbows locked into the lowest ribs. And let's inhale, come up for 2. And lock the elbows in. Angle forward for 3. Press up for 3. Exhale as we go forward. 4. 4, 5, 5, and 6, and 6. Come back to a vertical spine. Distribute the weight evenly on the right and left sit bones. Let's just bring our blocks beside the ankles, sitting towards the front of the chair, stack the spine, inhale the arms overhead, and once again, go forward. You might just go as far as putting the hands on the thighs, or you might let the hands come to rest on the blocks or the floor. Whatever option you choose, Make sure you can keep the spine nice and long. Rather than looking up towards the screen, keep that gaze straight down towards the floor so the neck stays in alignment with the rest of the spine. Inhale, come all the way up and draw the hands back to heart center. Inhale. This time, draw the left foot back, extend the right leg out in front of you, bring both hands to rest on the left thigh, lengthen the spine, and before we begin to fold forward, I'd like you to contract the muscles of the belly, getting them out of the way as we fold forward over the legs. Now feel a stretch that goes all the way along the back body. You might notice it starts at the big toe, goes around the heel, through the calf, all the way along, and then perhaps you might, if you can do so without rounding, bring the hands on to the blocks. And as you come into this stretch, see if you can think about taking the head forward to lengthen the spine. Notice what that does to the stretch in the legs. So think of lengthening the head forward and see how that affects the stretch along the whole body with the belly contracted. Inhale, come up. Draw that right leg in. Stretch the left leg out. The toes point straight up to the ceiling. The heel is pressed into the floor. Let's begin with both hands on the right leg. And by pressing the right heel down, you can get a little extra stretch as well in the muscles of the in the calf. And again, your hands might come to the blocks. I want you to contract the belly now. Draw it in towards the spine and then lift it slightly towards the lowest ribs. Keep the head in line with the spine and lengthen the head forward any amount to deepen that stretch. Inhale, come all the way up, and the hands and feet are going to meet at the center and draw the hands back to heart center. Let's now find our block. We're going to begin by placing the block on the floor between the feet, and you can use whatever dimension you want. I'm going to start with the block at the widest dimension. And what I'm going to ask you to do is to stretch the legs out, squeeze the block in between the bases of the big toes, and squeeze into the block. So this is an isometric strengthening exercise here for the muscles that hug the legs in towards the center line of the body. Now, let's move the legs back in, heels come back under the knees, and now place the block between the calves. Try and find that thickest point of the calf muscle. And again, I'm going to ask you to use that adduction, strength of the legs to hug the legs in towards the center line of the body. So hugging in. Let's hold for 3 breaths. 1, 2, and 3. Let's move up the legs now between the thighs. Again, heels are underneath. I'm going to use the middle dimension of the block, but you're welcome to try any of those dimensions. And again, about mid-calf, and I want you to squeeze in towards center. Let's hold for 1, 2, and 3. And now, one more thing. This is a very, very subtle movement. What I'm going to ask you to do is to see if you can rotate the thighs to take that block any amount towards the floor. So release the pressure, and then think of the thighs going around and the block moving down for 1, release, and 2, and release, and 3, and release. So now let's take our block between the hands, stretch the hands out towards me, and let's press the hands into the block. Draw the shoulder blades back and down. And now with the arms extended towards me, the pressure on the blocks, raise and lower the forearms for 1, 2. So we're pivoting at the elbows. 3. Upper arms stay parallel to the floor. They're not moving. Upper arms are not moving. We're just bending at the wrists. Okay, and no wonder you can't see me. I'm out of camera range. Let me turn sideways here. So arm is extended. Press in. And here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then let's move the arm overhead. Take the arm behind you. Draw the elbows in. Now use the core muscles to, so easy to go here. Use the core to maintain. And let's lift for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And let's set that block aside. So now let's find our strap. And I haven't asked you to do this for a while, so I hope you all remember how to make that loop in your strap stays at a particular length. So let's make that loop, and you want a loop that's going to be, if you pull on the strap, it's not going to move. Let's bring the strap up to the shoulders. And just set that width of the strap about at the same width of your shoulders. let's take the strap around the wrists. So don't, try and, if you're wearing a watch, don't have the strap over the watch. And now I want you to press the wrists into the resistance of the strap. And we're going to repeat that. Raise and lower of the lower arms, so stretching out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Arms come overhead, hands extend straight out. Take the arms behind for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Just bring the strap above, just above the elbow. So that's the center of the elbow. We're just above the elbow. So we're on the shoulder side of the elbow. Press out. And let's open the hands to the side. 1. I'm going to give you another moment to get organized here. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Let's now move the strap from the arms down towards the feet. And we'll begin with the strap. You likely need to make a bit smaller loop of the strap. Let's take the strap around the outer edge of the feet. So just the strap's going across the toe bases. Heels are down, and I want you to just gently rotate. We did that inward rotation into the block. Now we're going to press out for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And on 6, we're going to hold for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come. Now, let's take that strap around the calves. Again, adjust the strap so that you can get the feet to a hip distance apart. Make sure the belt is towards the center of the leg. And you might take the heels just a bit wider. And now expand into the resistance of the strap and then contract. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And hold for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's finish our abduction work by bringing the belt now around the thighs. Again, you might play a little bit with that distance to just find a distance that's comfortable for you. So about mid-thigh. And again, let's move out. So this is going to activate some of those the muscles in the glutes, the muscles that abduct the legs. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and hold for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And let's release the pressure. Let's slip that band off now. And let's set our strap aside for the moment. So now let's find our weights. Bring the weights down to the side. Again, stacking the spine, making sure the spine is nice and long. And let's hammer curl the weights up towards the shoulders and then drag them down for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Let's add on now. Again, take the weights up, turn, and lift down, and 1, 1, 1, 1, and 1. 2, 2, 2. 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4, and 5, 5, 5, and 5, and 6, 6, 6, and 6. Let's now move, we'll do some strengthening now for the side muscles. Again, adjust your range of motion in this to whatever is suitable for your spine. We're going to move right to the floor, left to the floor for 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10, 10, 11, 11, 12, and 12. Come back to center. Let's cross the weights now over the chest. Bring all of your attention to those core muscles at the front body. And maybe just give a slight lift to the sternum. Keep the head. So think of that alignment where we put the fist between the chin and the collarbones to establish the alignment for the head. And I want you to hold the head in this position as we reach back and come forward for 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10, 10, 11, 11, and 12, and hold for 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And come back to neutral. Weights come to the side. Let's begin by drawing the shoulder blades back. Then go forward, up, back, and down. Forward, up, back, and down. I'm seeing some great range of motion in shoulders there. And now come to the opposite cross. Take a nice deep breath in, support the spine with the core muscles, lift the top of the head towards the ceiling, angle back for 1, exhale forward for 1. Inhale. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and hold back for 12. 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And let's come back to neutral. Let's come up now and do some standing work before we finish our practice with final relaxation. So let's come up standing, and we're going to face the back of our chair. Begin our standing practice with standing mountain pose. So try and feel equal pressure on the left and right big toe or toe mounds. Lift all 10 toes, spread them out, and let's raise the heels and lower. 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and come back to center. We're going to repeat 2 more sets of 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. As we're maybe starting to get a bit fatigued, I want you to pay extra special attention now to keeping the weight even on the inner and outer big toe mounds. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Now, we're going to increase the weighting on each leg progressively. So just step 1 foot out to the side, and now bring maybe 60% of the weight onto the leg. In my case, it's the right leg. It might be so, and now raise and lower the heels for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Step the foot you stepped out back And let's now step the other foot out. Again, bringing a little more weight onto the one leg. Let's raise and lower for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And come back. Let's stretch out now the calf by taking the right foot back. You can rest on the back of the chair, straighten the right and left legs, and now bend the right knee, the left knee in towards the chair. Actually, this is more of a stretch from the front of the hip. Pull the tailbone down towards the heel to lengthen the spine. Notice how that increases the stretch in the front of the hip. And let's straighten the front leg. Step both feet into the chair. And now step the opposite foot back. Bend the knee into the chair. And then draw the pelvic floor towards the navel. And feel how that intensifies the stretch in the front of the leg that's back. Let's inhale, step that back leg in. Let's turn beside our chair. And now, before we do our tree pose, I'm going to ask you to bring that outside leg up toward the spot where the hip and the knee are in a right angle. So let me just turn sideways here. I'm just going to use the wall for support. And then open that leg out to the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Let's come to the opposite side now. Lift the leg, try and work towards the right angle. And open for 1, and 2, and 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now come up to standing beside our chair. Build the foundation in your chair side leg. Lift the outside heel, and you can stay with the heel lifted. Bring the heel to the ankle, to the calf, or it might come to the inner thigh. Draw the hands to heart center, open the arms overhead, and let's breathe here. Draw back to heart center, release, and switch the chair to the opposite side. Again, build our foundation with the chair side leg. Lift the outside heel, move it to the ankle, calf, or the inner thigh. Bring the hands to heart center, raise overhead. Back to heart center. And just step away from your chair and just bounce a bit. You might lift the feet, come onto one leg if you feel confident. And let's come back to seated. Good time to grab a drink. Unfortunately, once again, forgot to have water present. Let's go back to our seated mountain pose. And let's move the legs into a V. And let's come up to seated in our V. You lengthen the spine. Again, pull the sit bones back with the edge of the chair to come forward into the center of the V. In the head long. You can let the head come towards the floor. And breathe here, beginning to slow the body, slow everything down. One more breath here. Inhale. Come all the way up. Draw the hands back to heart center. And with the legs still in the V, let both knees sway right, sway left, sway right, sway left. And the next time they go right, take the right hand across and twist towards the left side. 2 more breaths. And let the knees sway left. Left hand outside of right thigh and twist right. Back to center, walk the feet in and take a drink if you need some more. Slide yourself back in the chair. Let the body be completely supported by the chair. Get the seat as close to the back of the chair as you can, and take a few moments to find the most comfortable position that you can find while seated to allow for relaxation. And don't settle for that very first position you find the body. Let the body settle for 30 seconds or so. And then make any micro adjustments that are going to make you feel more comfortable. Continue to let the body fully relax into the support of the chair. Letting the body feel completely supported by the chair. Relaxing. Relaxing the feet. Again, sensing the texture of the floor beneath your feet. Move that attention up the legs. And notice if the body reacted to the work that we did today, the work to strengthen the adductors and the abductors of the legs, and also the work that we did to strengthen the adductor and abduction and adduction movement of the arm. Note if the core work we did increased your awareness of those core muscles that are so very important for our balance and for protecting the spine. For allowing us to maintain our mobility and to maintain the functional mobility we need to go through our day. Try and relax the shoulder blades, the shoulders, and by relaxing, counteract the tension, that forward motion that comes from working on the computer, from driving, from knitting, from reading, from any of those tasks that we engage in. And finally, relax the face. Having relaxed the body and the breath, see if that sense of relaxation can extend to the mind as well. Now let's begin to deepen the breath. Nod the head forward and back. Move the head side to side. Wiggle the fingers, the wrists, the toes, and the ankles. Slide ourselves back towards the front of our chair. Return to seated mountain one last time. Arms come to the side. Rise overhead with an inhale breath. Draw the hands back to heart center. And thank yourself for making time for this practice. Thank each other for sharing your practice. And thank you so much for allowing me to guide you through your practice today. Thank you and thank you.